Welcome to lecture series on Embedded System Design Lab. In this video, we will see the basics of ARM7 processor and also we will see some basic definitions prior to that. So we will see first compiler. Compiler translates high level language into machine level language. What is the meaning of machine level language and high level language? Machine level language means machine understandable language, that is in terms of ones and zeros. High level language means in the language what we are writing the program. See, we are writing the program, it is understood by us, but it is high level to the computer to understand. So that's why what is the compiler does is it translates that the program what we have written in high level language into the machine level language, that is into ones and zeros. And coming to the assembler, it converts the assembly level language. See, suppose you are writing the program in assembly language, that assembly language program which is not understandable by the computer into the machine level language which is understood by the computer, that is in terms of ones and zeros. So to convert assembly language into machine level language, that is ones and zeros, we are using assembler. To convert or it translates high level language into machine level language, we use the compiler. And next, coming to the pipeline. See, pipelining is nothing but we are dividing the some complex process into some sub processes, and then the processor works on each sub process at a time. That is parallelly we are doing the process, and then the complex process is going to be done in the less time. So this is the pipelining. And coming to the program counter, it is a special register that holds the memory address of the next instruction to be executed. This is one important register which is available in the ARM processor. It is a special register that holds the memory address of the next instruction to be executed. And next, coming to the instruction cycle, fetch, decode and execution cycle is the three-stage cycle the ARM7 follows. What is the definition of fetch? To get the instructions and data from main memory and store them in internal registers of memory. The internal registers of memory are nothing but the registers. After fetching the instruction and data, we have to decode the instruction. That is, the processor decodes the instruction. See, here decode is nothing but it can understand what operation it has to perform. See, the assembler or the compiler itself converts the your given code into machine level language. That is, the compiler itself or the assembler itself is converting to ones and zeros, right? So that is, the ones and zeros are getting by the fetch stage. After getting the fetch stage, that ones and zeros, that opcode and the operand in ones and zeros form. In the decode process, based upon the ones and zeros combination of the opcode and the operands, it is going to decode the instruction and it can execute that instruction. So this is the ARM7 processor gets the instruction, fetch the instruction and data from the memory, and then it can decode what is the instruction. That may be add or that may be anything, subtract or that may be anything. Later the CPU can perform the function and produce the result in the execution stage. So this is the three-stage execution cycle for ARM7 processor. And pipeline, now understand the pipeline with these three. Suppose at the time of the first instruction is in execution stage, the second instruction is in decoding stage, and the third instruction is in fetch state. That is, at a time, if you see, the third instruction is in execution stage and the second instruction is in decoding stage, and the first instruction is in, the first instruction is in execution state and the second instruction is in decoding stage and the third instruction is in fetch stage. That is, at a time parallelly the process is going on. This is nothing but the pipeline processing. So ARM7 uses three-stage pipeline: fetch, decode and execute, whereas ARM9 uses five-stage pipeline. Right. Now coming to the architecture of the ARM7. ARM7 follows the von Neumann architecture, that is, the program and data are present in the same memory, are stored in the same memory. Next, coming to the RISC versus CISC machines. See, the processor what we are using ARM7 is a RISC-based machine, that is reduced instruction set computer. Whereas the processors what we have seen 80, the processors like 8056 like that. So it is a CISC-based process, complex instruction set computer. So what is the meaning of complex instruction set and uh, RISC instruction set? So we'll see the difference here. RISC indicates reduced instruction set computer and CISC indicates complex instruction set computer. So that is, the mission or programming using ARM is easy as it consists of reduced instruction set, whereas the CISC is having complex instruction set. So due to the complex instruction set, the hardware here is very complex. Whereas in RISC machines, it is a reduced instruction set computer. The instruction set itself is less. So that's why the compiler has to do more work to understand the instruction in RISC, and the hardware is easy there. So that is CISC is hardware complex oriented and the RISC is compiler complex oriented here. So now we'll see the basic differences between the RISC and CISC machines. The instruction set has less instructions in RISC based machines when compared to the CISC based machines, and in RISC the compiler is complex. Why? Because very few instructions are there, so that's why the compiler has to decode or translate. So what is the actual thing that the computer has to perform? So that is the software designing is complex in RISC. Whereas coming to the CISC, the processor is complex, the hardware is complex. Why? Because the machines do more work on more on hardware, depends more on hardware here, right? And the third one, the RISC is high performance than the CISC. When coming to the performance wise, the RISC based machines are uh, highly high performance because it is having a reduced instruction set, and also it is a 32-bit instruction. This ARM7 is a 32-bit processor. Whereas coming to the CISC, it is of less flexible due to the load and store model. What is the meaning of load and store model is, suppose you want to add two numbers where one number is present in the registers whereas another number is present in the memory, then we are not able to do add operation directly for those two numbers. First of all, you have to get the data from the memory into the processor registers, then only you are going to add. That is, the flexibility wise RISC is not that much efficient. Whereas coming to the CISC processors, we can do the addition of data present in the registers, that is inside the processor, and the data present in the memory at a time without loading the memory data into the registers. So but when coming to the RISC, we cannot do like that. We have to first load the data from the memory into the registers, and then we have to add. So that is, the programming code in the RISC processor is very when compared to the CISC is more lines, right? And next, coming to the RISC based machines execute one instructions per one cycle, whereas in CISC some instructions may take two or more cycles. That is the important point here. And due to small instruction set, RISC has large program code and size, whereas compared to the CISC, right? Why? Because what I am saying is, to add the two numbers, which is one is in the register and another one is the memory. First of all, you have to get the content from memory into register. So that is, you have to write some one or two lines program to get the contents of memory into the register. So then you have to add. Whereas coming to the CISC, you can directly write add statement. With one line you can add. But in RISC based process, we are not able to add with one line. We have to add one or two lines above the add statement to get the data from the memory into the registers. So this is about the RISC and CISC based differences. And coming to the basics of ARM7 processor, see, you know this one, the byte is 8 bits, you know this one. And what about half word? Half word means 16 bits. Word is 32 bits. Why we are saying the word size is 32 bits in ARM7? See, that is this word size is 32 bits because the ARM7 is a 32-bit processor. Suppose it is 8-bit processor, you can call the word size as 8 bits. Suppose it is 16-bit processor, we are calling the word size as 16 bits. But when coming to the ARM7, the word size indicates the 32 bits here. Why? Because ARM7 is a 32-bit processor. What is the meaning of 32-bit processor? It can add two 32-bit numbers at a time, right? So that's why for ARM7, dealing with ARM7, the word size is 32 bits and the half word size is 16 bits and the byte is 8 bits here. And coming to the ARM is the advanced RISC machine. I already told that ARM is a RISC based machine, that is, the instruction set is reduced instruction set is there to program with this ARM7, right? That is around 100 or 110. So with those instructions we are able to program the ARM. And RISC indicates the reduced instruction set computer. So it is a load store model processor. What is the definition of load store model means? First of all, you have to load the registers with the data from the memory. That is, to perform some operation on the data which is present in the memory, we cannot able to directly perform the operation. First of all, you have to get the data from the memory into the registers, then only you have to perform the operation, right? That is, you have to first load the register with the data, and then you have to perform the operation and then store the actual result into the again back to the memory. That is a load store model processor, right? And it is a von Neumann architecture it follows. That is the program and data stores in the same memory or shares the same memory. It is a 32-bit processor. It can perform 32-bit operations at a time. That is, you can perform 32-bit addition at the same time. Whereas coming to the 8-bit processor, we are not able to do the 32-bit operation, right? So it is a 32-bit processor, and it is having 32-bit address bus. 32-bit address bus means you can access 2 power 32 memory locations from the by using this ARM7 processor, and it is a 32-bit data bus. That is, you can at a time you can transmit 32 bits, right? And we have registers of 37 registers, and each register is of 32-bit size. R0 to R14 are general purpose registers, whereas R15 is the program counter, which stores the address of the next instruction to be executed, and R16 is the CPSR, current program status register. In this CPSR register, it is having overflow carry flag is there and zero flag. So all these are going to be those status are going to be seen in this current program status registers. And next, all instructions are 32-bit for ARM7. If it is thumb instructions, it is of 16-bit. And there are two types of accessing the memory. The bytes in memory are viewed as big endian and little endian. What we will see, the big endian means, see the 32 bits, that is 0 to 31, the byte 3 is the LSB and byte 0 is MSB in big endian, whereas in little endian the byte 0 is LSB and byte 3 is MSB. So this thing you have to select while writing the program. While starting the program, you have to select big endian or little endian, right? And next, coming to the instructions, memory transfer instructions. That is how to transfer the data from memory into the registers, or also how to transfer the data from registers to memory. So we are basically using two important commands. One is LDR, instructions. LDR, load register. LDR loads the register with the content. That content is taken from the memory. That is, the data is taken from the memory and stores in the register by using LDR. Whereas STR, store register, that is, the content in the register is going to be stored into the memory. So these two are the important instructions. Why? Because to perform any operation on the data first of all should be get from the memory into the registers. So that's why first of all you have to load the register with the data. So that's why LDR and STR are the two important operations in while writing the programming of ARM. And next, coming to the data transfer instructions, move. Move is one data transfer instruction to transfer the data from register to register. See, the registers are available inside your processor, right? To transfer data from register to register, we are using the move statement here. And for addition operation, the instructions are add, right? And also ADC, add with carry instruction. So these are the basic instructions we are using for programming the ARM. And next, coming to the memory instructions in detail. So LDR load register, that is, it loads the data or it transfers the data from memory into the register. Whereas STR store register, that is, data transmitted from register to memory. That is, the register data is going to be stored into the memory by using STR instruction. Now we'll see in detail what is LDR and STR. So LDR instructions. Let us consider LDR R1 comma value. Here value is some value, that may be 2 or that may be 3 or anything. Now this LDR R1 comma value results in the address of the value 1 or value is stored in the R1 register. Here R1 is the register. The registers are named as R0, R1, R2, so on up to R14. So here R1 is nothing but the register, which is of 32-bit. Now with the output of this instruction is the value address is stored in the R1 register, right? Next, that is the loads the address of value into R1 register. The address of 2, which is in the memory location. 2 is the value. The 2 is already stored in the memory. Now the address of that 2 is going to be stored in this R1 register with this instruction. So next, LDR R2 comma bracket R1. Square bracket R1 indicates the data present in the R1 register content address. That is the value 2. That is going to be stored in the R2 register now. That is the important here. So in the R1 first statement, we have stored the address of the value, whereas in the second statement, bracket indicates the data present in that address. That data is going to be stored into the R2 register. So that is what is the meaning here. By using these two instructions, the data present in the R2, the data present in the memory is going to be getting into the R2 register. And then you have to perform the operation, add or multiply anything. So that's why these two are important instructions here. That is, it loads the value at address found in register R1 into register R2. Now we'll see in detail with some small diagram these two instructions. LDR R1 comma value 1. Let us consider value 1 maybe 2 or 5. Let us consider that is stored in the memory first of all. So in the memory value 1 is 5, in the memory value 2 is 2. So the 5 is stored in the address 00001088 and the 2 is stored in the address 00001088. See here. Now observe here, what is the output of LDR R1 comma value 1? The value 1 is 5 and the 5 address is 88. That 88 is stored in the R1 register. That is the output of this one is in the R1 register, that 88 is going to be storing. That address is going to be storing in the R1 register. That is in the registers, this address, thus 00001088 address is going to be stored in the R1 register. So right now in the R1 register 0x indicates the hexadecimal and 00001088 indicates 8 into 4. 4 is the 32 is the size of the R1 register. So that is the output. Now the next instruction we will see. Next instruction is the data present in that 88. The data present in that 88 address is going to be transferred into R2 register. Here observe this one. The R2 is contains zeros, all zeros. Now what we are doing in the next instruction, the data present in the 88 address, that is 5, it has to be stored in the R2 register. That's why what I am doing here, LDR R2 comma square bracket R1 is the next instruction. That is the square bracket R1 indicates the data present in the R1 register 88 address, that is 5, that is going to be stored into the R2 register. That is the next instruction. LDR R2 comma square bracket R1. Here 88 address is present in R1 actually. Now the data present in 88 address is 5. Now that 5 is going to be stored into the R2 register. Observe here, R1 contains 88 address. Now that 88 address, the value is 5. Now that 5 is going to be stored into the R2 register. Now up to by using these two statements, what we have done, the value 1 5 which is stored in the memory is first of all bringing into your registers inside the processor. Now we have to perform the operation on this data, right? Now I have performed the operation. Now what I have to do, the result is going to be stored into the memory back. So for that one, what is the instruction we are using is the store. Now observe here, next statement, store R2 comma R0. So this indicates that the R2 content, the content of R2 is going to be stored into the R0 register address. That is the address specifying in the R0. In that address, the data R2 is going to be stored. For example, so taking the registers here, R0 is the 8C. That is 8C is the address present in the R0. Now R2 is having 5. Now what is the STR purpose is the data present in R2, that is 5. This 5 is going to be first of all store into which address? 8C address of the memory. That is 8C address of the memory. The value is replaced with 5. Observe here, the 8C address, previously it is 2, value 2 is, now this 8C address, now the 2 is replaced with 5. Why? Because after execution this one, the R2 content 5 is going to be transferred to the 8C address of the 8C address, right? So that is 5 is replaced in the 8C address. That is the meaning here. That is after storing the result in the register, that result is going to be stored back to the memory by using the STR. So these are two important instructions, LDR and STR, for any writing the program, right? So now we'll see the other instructions. So that 5 is going to be stored to the actual 8C address. Now we'll see move R1 comma R2, moves the contents from R2 register to R1 register. Here R1 is the destination register. This is the basic instruction for the move. And next, coming to the add R0 comma R1 comma R2, it adds the contents of R1 and R2 register and stores in R0 register, and that is R0 is the destination register here. And add C is nothing but to add the R1 R2 register contents and also along with the carry flag, carry bit which is in the CPSR register, and the total result is going to be stored in the R0 register here, right? And we will see sub sub is there instruction for subtraction purpose, mul is there. So like this number of instructions are there. So but these are the basic instructions we are seeing. And next, coming to the directives are not instructions. These are just allocates the space in the memory to store the things. Suppose value 1 is 2 or value 1 is 5, that 5 is going to be stored in some memory. So this directives allocates the memory space required to store that 5 too. So for example here DCD is defined constant word. Word is nothing but here in ARM7 32-bit, right? So DCD means defined constant word is the abbreviation. So it reserves the 32-bit space in memory to store the results. or to store the values, right? So when you write DCD in the program, it means it reserves the 32-bit space in the memory, define constant word. So it is a not an instruction, but it is a directive. It directs that processor to allocate the 32-bit space in the memory. Why these are useful means to store the values, to store the results, all these things we are using this DCD. And coming to the applications of ARM7, it is used in embedded system applications. It is used in Samsung mobiles as a processor and Motorola mobiles as a processor. It is used in street light controllers. So thank you.